agenda is to approve the agenda. Do we have any changes, any additions, any deletions? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion by McBride.
Pardon?
Motion by McBride.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner McBride. We have a motion to approve the agenda. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Councilor Kraus. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Do we have any opposed? Very good. The agenda is approved. Next, we have the minutes from the August 24th special meeting. That's in your packet. Are there any additions or corrections? Oh, and, well, we can do the August 24th one separately. Are there any additions or corrections to that?
Mr. President?
Yes.
Are you doing the August 24th regular minutes, or are you doing the September 4th special minutes?
No, I'm doing the August 4th regular minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I didn't say special meeting minutes. Do we have a motion?
Motion by Pavlik.
Very good, Commissioner Pavlik. Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second by McBride.
We have a second by Commissioner McBride. Any further discussion? Additions? Deletions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Very good. Motion passes. The next is the special meeting minutes from September 1st.
Should be the 4th, I believe. Friday the 4th. Sorry, there's a typo
In the agenda, it has September 1st.
Should read September 4th.
All right. We'll correct that. That's one correction. Any addition or deletions?
McBride moved the special meeting minutes.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner McBride. Do we have a second?
Second by Hanson.
Thank you, Mr. Hanson. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition?
I will abstain.
One abstention. All right. The motion passes. Next, we have the Treasurer's report from our Treasurer, Commissioner McBride.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Cold weather testing. Reviewed the bills and accounts payable, the balance sheet, and everything on, I believe it was the 17th, last Thursday. First on cold weather testing, there's one transfer, $15,000 to Kita. On the inside page, unpaid bills, $14,475.28, and then on the next page, one for $1,193.40. All bills look like they are normal maintenance charges and just what we pay every month. So with that, the treasurer would move to pay those bills.
All right. We don't need a second for the treasurer, I don't think. So, any further discussion? Yes.
You're correct. You're correct, Mr. Chair.
second. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, do we have any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Continue, Mr. McBride.
Okay. Thank you. We go to Akita again, same day, September 17th. And just for explanation, maybe Paul or Kyra, the $170,000 transfer to JLR and how we work that again so everybody's aware of it.
Yeah, the good news is we received our JLR annual payment for $170,000. We have to accept it because they do a wire transfer to Wells Fargo, and then we have to transfer it to JLR as their own account. So it's just basically a movement from one account to another. We keep 3 accounts. We keep cold weather testing, Jaguar Land Rover has their own account, and then Kita, correct? And so it's just essentially to accept those funds via wire transfer and then put them in our account at TrueStar.
And at any point, the JLR account, we have access to that account to draw from it.
Correct.
Yeah, but usually we don't pay out of that account, do we? We transfer to either Keith or Oko or weather testing and then pay out of that. Correct. Yeah. I think that's the way it works.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a $170,000 transfer to the JLR account. On the inside page, $22,718.99. August salaries again being paid. Don't see anything. It looks like it's on ordinary or new, normal maintenance type payments. So with that, the chair, or the secretary would move $22,718.99 to be paid.
We have a motion. And do we have a second?
Second, Diane.
All right.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion, questions of the treasurer? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Thank you very much. The bills will be paid. The rest of your report, Treasurer McBride, will we acknowledge. Next item is Shirley Domingue is here from the workforce with us. Sheila?
Yes. Am I on?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. This is Sheila. For those of you who don't know me, I work for the Department of Employment and Economic Development located at Career Force on the Rainy River Community College campus. And generally, we work with job seekers, employers, students here at Career Force. And Paul just wanted me to give you a little update on what's going on here as far as job seekers, employers, along with the COVID situation. And so, Paul, do you just want me to give a little background information first?
Yeah, I know, and thanks for joining us, Sheila. I know that Career Force is kind of a rebranding of the Workforce Center, but your role remains the same. As you've mentioned, you work with both people looking for employment and business owners or looking for employees. That has not changed, correct?
Correct, yes. Same services.
And just to explain kind of how that works. People can show up or you can post online. How does that process work?
Yeah, so right now we are not open to the public. So in regards to job seekers, we have our job bank, minnesotaworks.net, where employers can register to post their jobs. There's no fee for them to do that. And we have a pretty good use of the job bank by the employers in town and the job seekers. So right now they can go online and do that independently. We are providing online and phone support, though, to both job seekers and employers, and offering virtual workshops, job fairs, resume writing, career planning, those types of job search activities online. And for the employers, we are trying to work with them as well as far as finding people who are eligible for our work programs to see if that can fit some of their need to fill openings. But I know employers are having a difficult time right now getting applicants.
Right, and Sheila, we've been talking around this table for a number of months just with COVID and some of the challenges that employers are having trying to find employees. And one of the things we talk about anecdotally is that, because we post jobs on our website as well, is there doesn't seem to be any shortage of jobs across a whole spectrum of skill sets and types of from entry level on up. Is that what you're saying? And COVID, of course, has impacted everyone to some degree. So, but maybe you could kind of just share what you're seeing from both employers and employees.
Yeah, like you said, there's a wide range of openings. Of course, there's a huge need in healthcare right now, and it's not just the caretakers, the nurses, the CNAs. There's also openings in like records and billing and human resources in those facilities, and they're really having a hard time, getting applicants for those. But we're also seeing a need in retail and restaurants, as you can imagine. A lot of people have fears about COVID and don't want to be in those types of environments. So it's really a challenge right now for both, the job seekers and the employers. We do have a virtual career fair coming up for employers October 27th through the 29th. So there's marketing going out on that. If you know of any employers that might be interested, you can have them call Career Force and we can get them the information.
And do you think that increased unemployment that was available for a time affected some people's decision whether to go to work or stay home?
But, I don't have statistics on it, but I'm sure it did. Now that has ended, the $600, you see more people returning to work. Our unemployment rate has dropped, from a high of 10.7% to 7.4% right now. So people are returning to work in some capacity.
Very good. The other thing I just wanted to reference to the board is that DEED and Employment and Economic Development again puts out some very good information regarding population workforce, and we get those updates on a regular basis. But they do provide very good and timely data regarding population workforce, et cetera.
Yes, the current information that came out has a lot of good information, like the projected loss in our labor force in the next 10 years, the decline in our population. Those will all have an impact on our labor market and our labor force.
And I thought an interesting stat for Koochiching County, the median age is 50.8 years, and the statewide median age is 38.3 years. So we are aging, and we are shrinking, which we know, but the extent of that sometimes is a little jarring.
Yes, that'll affect the working age population.
Correct.
And right now has
Getting older? There's one way.
He does have some free training right now for employers and job seekers through Coursera, And I've sent this information out to employers because they could use this as a resource to train their employees as well. You know, if they find some topic on there that they think would be beneficial for their employees, they can have them sign up to do these free courses through major universities and businesses. And that link can be found on the careerforcemn.com website.
Very good. Sheila, one other question just that comes up a lot, and it's hard to quantify, I know, but, you know, there's a misnomer, I think, that we've got this very deep workforce pool out there to draw from. And, you know, again, we see a lot of openings that are not going filled. How would you characterize the current workforce in the Cooch County?
You know, it is difficult. I don't know that
on a Monday morning. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know that we have a large population, you know, workforce to draw from. You know, and then again, you know, if you look at the statistics from DEED, you know, the training levels of those and how they fit into the jobs that are open right now. You know, even like PCA, Packaging Corporation of America, they have several jobs posted right now, you know, that require a higher level of education. And, you know, those have gone unfilled for, you know, a while. They've been posted. You know, and same with the healthcare, the nursing, those types of jobs. So, you know, it really depends on the position and the level of education of our labor force at this time.
Right. And the other thing I noticed is just looking at continual vacancies or for openings that they're trying to fill are like in truck driving. I just always see that the need for truck driving is going unmet.
Yes, there seems to be a shortage of truck drivers with the, you know, the proper license that they need here.
And does Rainy River still offer the CDL?
They do on occasion. Now, I don't know when it's going to be offered again up here.
The reason that truck driving is so on my mind is I've been watching all this construction here at the airport and in town with all the, you know, road construction and just the number of sheer volume of trucks that are on our roads right now. It's amazing.
Yes, yes.
Do we have
Any other questions?
any further questions, Sheila? Very good. Thank you very much.
Sheila, thanks again for
the information and for you making the effort to speak with us. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you. And if you have any employers reach out to you with questions, feel free to have them call Career Force. Thank you.
All right.
thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye now. Next item is the 21 budget. Director Neville.
Mr. Chair, as I noted at our last month's meeting, this has been a terribly difficult budget year due to COVID and the uncertainties around that. And at that point in time, I presented two budgets. One, basically, our better case, where we were able to, our goal ultimately is obviously to cover our costs, but also to make repay the loan payment to the city and the county for the second coal box. And I was hoping at this meeting that I would have a better sense of where we would be with, especially with the cold weather piece, because that is one of our largest revenue streams. And at this point in time, I only have 3 confirmed test dates for the upcoming season. Now, my sense is there's going to be more, but in talking to our cold weather test folks, a lot of them are still waiting, and some of that's predicated on travel, whether they're going to be allowed to travel, especially the overseas folks, whether they can get work visas and they're allowed to travel country to country. So for now, I will continue to be very conservative in the budget that I'm putting forward, both cold weather and and the KETA budget, does not have a loan repayment at this time. I'm erring on the side of being very conservative on this, but our goal is in 2021 to repay the city and the county an annual payment for the cold box. But at this point in time, I just want to be hold off on that, and hopefully by next month's meeting, I should have a better sense of just how many cold weather trips we can anticipate and the kind of the revenue that will generate from those. So, Mr. Chair.
All right, any questions?
Yes, McBride, question. Paul, with the city and county forbearance of the loan for the year, are you confident that both COVID testing and KETA a good solid budget, or that we can balance it and meet it?
Given that scenario, these numbers are going to be, I think we're going to be just fine.
And if the COVID testing goes to where you feel it should go, then
we should be able to make that payment. I don't want to approach the city and county for additional operating funds, and then turn around and have to make a payment. I want to make sure that we can get through this year, and that's the budget I've presented at this point in time. But again, it's a snapshot in time, and in this crazy year, it's very difficult. But that's our intent.
So, with the number of days possibly shortage in the COVID testing, and we have the 3 boxes, correct?
Correct.
So there'll be maybe sometimes the boxes will not be operating if we move forward right now the way we are.
Correct. But it also does give us opportunity, because if JLR is going to be cutting back their testing just due to travel restrictions, that we may be able to use those other boxes to support additional test teams. And I've talked to Ronnie and the folks at JLR, and they're okay with that because they understand this is a very unique point in time, and they're going to try to work with us. And I really appreciate them, being flexible like that.
So are we putting those feelers out to other people
Yes.
that we may have openings?
Yes. Yep. It's very important that we do so we can get these numbers established and yeah.
Any other questions for Director Nevinen?
Director Nevinen, I have a question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So when do you think you will know if you're going to approach the city for funding? And the only reason I bring this up is our preliminary levy is due at the end of the month. So that means that our budget is getting close to finalized at that point. We wouldn't be able to raise
And I understand
beyond what that says. So
right, and I understand that, and I'm aware of that deadline as well, and that's kind of feeding into this, providing more angst among us here. But again, I'm hoping that maybe the end of this week, early next week, before the 1st of October, that we'll have a better sense of commitment from especially one test group that is we're waiting on.
And Paul, the city or the county has the same issue. I think we have to set our preliminary levy on the 29th.
yeah, that's the date for all the county and municipal levies. So I think the school board has to have theirs preliminary at that point too. Doesn't mean that that's set in stone, but the only thing we can do is bring it down. We can't bring it up.
Right, understood. Thank you.
And actually, Director Nevinen, I guess my question would be then, if there was an amount, do you think you could get it to us? We have a budget and finance meeting this afternoon. I mean, we can always take it out, if you know what I mean. It's one of those things, we can put it in the preliminary levy and say it's going to be this amount, and if you don't need it as it moves forward, we can always take that out and then really impress the taxpayers by lowering that levy, if that makes sense.
Well, I appreciate that, and we talked internally, just looking at our numbers and the way our expenses have been very consistent over the years. That like $25,000 from each body would provide us, with that's the number we would be looking at.
Right, and then are we going to readdress the loan payment now? Usually we do that in like October, November, somewhere in there. I would imagine that the city would be more than favorable to just continue to kick that can down the road.
Yeah, and I've been having a discussion with the county and internally here, and until we know for certain what that testing season is going to look like, we just have to err on the side of being conservative and withhold that payment into next spring.
Sure. Yeah, in full disclosure, I mean, our whole goal this year is to keep the levy as small as possible. And personally, my goal is to not raise taxes at all this year, to just stay where we're at. I don't know if that's going to be possible or not, but we really want to keep it low. But, if you give us a number, we can kind of work that in. And then if it changes before, because our actual levy doesn't have to be in, I want to say it's December. So we've got some time. So if that changes, then we can always write that back out of the budget.
Okay, that's good advice. And yeah, I know it's a difficult year for the city and county too, even with COVID and all the additional expenses and the stress on businesses. So it's been a challenging budget year, no question.
Any further questions? Comments? Thank you, Director Nevenin. The next is the SBDC update. Joanne, are you with us, or?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, but we should.
Mr. Chair, this is Richard McBride. I think we'd be looking to make the approval of both budgets, for the testing and KETA, as of today. I think they need to move forward and need to submit those to the county and the city. So I think we need to make formal approval.
All right.
I would move forward the testing, but Mr. Chair, I would move forward the testing for approval.
All right. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Councilor Kraus. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. The motion passes.
With that,
Go ahead.
Barry, again, I would move forward the KEDA budget as proposed.
All right. We have a motion. We have a second for the KETA budget.
I can second.
We have a second from Councilor Kraus. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Very good. The motion passes. Now we can move on to the SBDC update. Joanne?
Yes, this is Joanne. Just going to give our review. So round one, we had 23 applications and funded $129,979. Round two, we had 11 applications and funded $72,385.28. Round three, we had 17 applications and funded $83,859.03. So total funding was, so far we've $286,223.31 for 51 applications. So we still have a little bit of funds remaining for a fourth round. So far we have 12 applications for the fourth round, and the deadline is going to be Friday. So we are asking that all applications be in by Friday, and then I I will continue to review those, make sure they have all the paperwork that's needed for the review committee, and then the review committee is going to meet on October 1st and grant that last round of funds.
Okay.
How many
questions?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I'm asking how many dollars are left in this for this last round?
I figure about 62,000.
1,000.
And so far, with the 12 applications, that's about 37,000. So we're going to be really close on funding.
Mr. Chair, I just want to commend Joanne, the work and the committee, the work that Joanne's doing on this, helping businesses. The good news is we're able to, for-profit businesses can apply for up to $10,000, and that's made a big difference to a lot of these businesses, small businesses. We've also reached every corner of the county with these funds, and as well as the not-for-profit world, which is eligible for $5,000. So it's worked very, very well, and Joanne's done a great job in reaching out and then helping the applicants fill them out, and the committee obviously moving quickly to get those dollars out.
And this is also additional revenue for KEDA for administrating the grant. So through the three rounds, KEDA will have received $25,500, and then we'll still have the fourth round of admin fees. So on the bills, you'll notice that some of them do say CARES Act for advertising, and I did go to Northolm and MISPA, will travel for that stuff. So those are all included in these fees as well.
Okay, any
questions?
questions, comments? Thank you very much, Joanne. We appreciate the report and appreciate your work. Thank you. The next item is a director's report. Mr. Nevena.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. And I can see it's fairly brief here, but I did want to point out a few things. Was contacted by Sonia from the city of Little Fork. I sent her some information about small cities grants, and they are in the midst of the Little Fork Community Center project, which is really two parts. One is an outdoor pavilion that is between the municipal liquor store and the community building. I included some pictures of some pavers. They're putting in kind of an event space with a gazebo, pavers. It'll be landscaped. It'll be very attractive, and it's a community-wide project. There's a lot of support for it. So Joanne and I were invited down to the committee meeting to look at the project, and they've asked us to help in the deed grant, small cities grant application for community buildings, community centers. The second phase of this project is the actual modification of the existing community center. They're going to add some additional space for storage. They're going to move some elements of the community building around, and then put some doors to allow access out to this new pavilion. I think the outdoor phase, as I mentioned here, is estimated to cost about $133,000. The building project is estimated to cost about $120,000. So we're going to work with them on that part of the grant application. But the other thing we learned is that as part of the fundraising for this, they are selling pavers, personalized bricks to help cover some of the costs. And an 8x8 brick costs $100. And I thought it might be appropriate for KEDA to consider purchasing one of these 8x8 blocks for $100 to help support the project overall.
I would agree. Do we have any comments?
just to show them.
Mr. Chair, this is Hanson. I would make the motion that PETA follows through with the idea and purchases a brick for on behalf of the city of Little Fork for $100.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Hanson. We have a second. We have a second by Commissioner Pavlik, was that? Who did the second? Commissioner Pavlik?
It was me.
All right.
What? Okay, good.
Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposition? Any abstention? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Continue, Mr. Nevenen.
Thank you. And if you have a chance, if you're driving through Little Fork, stop and take a peek. It's going to be a real nice addition to the community. And they've got some longer-term streetscape projects that they're looking at. One of the things that also is a reminder, and with this COVID business, and is the impact that it's having on these small communities and the community centers, which are actually places where people can congregate but also raise funds. And you've seen the stories about the Little Fork Municipal Liquor Store and the challenges that they're having. And I'm sure that's happening throughout the state and the region here with COVID. But it was a reminder that's happening right there as well. The Grow Koochiching discussion, Ted Saxon started a group, it's actually a conversation called Grow Koochiching, where he's going to look at a number of ways to help support the growth of the county. And he's looking at different angles or different areas, aspects. And I participated recently in a Facebook Live video session with Mayor Droba and Chamber President Tricia Heibel around the topic of economic development. And that's a very broad topic. And I think we spent an hour and 45 minutes, which is a little long for something like that. But I think that's a reflection of the depth and breadth of that topic. So we hope to have a follow-up conversations on specific event topics around economic development. And just one last thing, Granite Digital, Joe Mershon's been working on a site plan for his project in the High Falls Business Park, and so we'll be working on talking with the city. We're working with the city on a number of the site details and getting started on that, so we can move that piece of it forward. So,
All right. Any questions, comments?
that's all I've got.
Any questions, comments? Thank you, Director Nevenen. Next item is other city, county, out-county updates. We can start with, your face looks nice and familiar. Let's start with Councilor Kraus.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've just got a quick city update on the Circle K, which has been kind of a controversial topic for the city council. They are finishing their permitting, and they are moving full steam ahead, and they plan to build yet this fall on the old TP site, so that'll be good. The street projects with the 82 blocks of repairs we're doing right now is Shorewood. Looks like it's going to be finished up this week, and then the rest of the projects look to be about 2 weeks out. Hopefully the weather holds and they can get that done. And then, as I had mentioned earlier, the preliminary levy is due at the end of the month here, so we're kind of getting our budget put together. And then lastly, I wanted to note that Mayor Droba was unable to attend today. They had a little outbreak out at his daughter's school, and he had to run out there and get her stuff. So she doesn't have anything, but she's got some classmates that do, so she's on our way home. So that's he regrets he was unable to attend.
All right. Thank you.
Councilor Kraus, could I ask a question, please?
Absolutely.
How about Highway 53? It looks like they're moving a lot of dirt, and there's a lot of construction going on. Are they on schedule?
You know, I have to point out that that is a state project, so we don't control anything there. But as far as we know, they're on schedule. But I don't have an update. Actually, we'll be getting an update tonight at the council meeting. So we're just a little,
Okay. Thank you.
a little late on that. But yeah, it looks like they're, from what I can see, just giving it the eye test, it looks like they've got the big pipes in and they're starting to fill and come back to grade. So I would imagine that it's going to be fairly soon here. But again, the DOT will be giving an update at the council meeting tonight. So we're just a little early for that.
Very good.
Thank you. County update. Commissioner Pavlik or
You gonna go wait?
Right.
Brian's going through the only thing I mention is we got a big project out here on County Road 103, and you maybe can hear the equipment in the background. They're right out the end of my driveway, but they've kind of caught up, and I think it's going to be finished here, or at least mostly finished before the cold weather hits. We may have to do a little bit more in the spring. So anyway, but other than that, Brian, I'll let you take it.
Okay, thanks, Wade. And then pretty much the same thing what Councilor Kraus said. Right now, the county board and administration and all department heads are working on our budget. We need to set preliminary levy by the 29th of September. Things are looking good. I think Jen and the group have been working hard. The weather is unbelievable for construction. I can't imagine if we had had a year like last year where we'd be sitting. So thank goodness for that. The only other thing I need to know is, I need to make a statement. I know what time this community goes to work, because how we set County Road 24, which is 2nd Avenue East, is now Highway 53. They go to work here at about 5 o'clock in the morning, because every truck in the city must come by my house. I can't wait for in mid-October to get Highway 53 open back up, and everybody in the East Ward can get back to some kind of relevance, because East Ward is so busy right now, and the traffic is just terrible. So that's all I have.
All right. Any questions for Commissioner Pavlik or Commissioner McBride? Very good. Mr. Hanson, anything happening at the end of the rainbow?
Every day, Mr. Chair, thank you for asking. I did contact all of the organized cities in Cooch and tried to get an update, and the Big Falls is pretty much patting themselves on the back, or maybe they should. If you're in the Big Falls area, please drop in and see their park. Right now, they're dealing with their budgets and planning for next year. The city of Northome has done as much as they can do to raise capital and to do all the legalities associated with the new water tower, which they expect to start construction early next spring. I didn't hear back from Rainier, but the wonderful Falls Journal has been doing a great job, so I'm sure everybody in the public understands what's going on. And Paul pretty much carries Little Fork and their efforts there. So I appreciate you asking, Mr. Chair. The county accesses on the Rainy River are starting to be used quite a bit more, both from sturgeon fishermen and from people who have never been at these accesses before. It's pretty surprising. A huge group from Rochester, Minnesota spent 4 days sturgeon fishing this week, where they would ordinarily be up in Canada northern fishing. So come on down. The shiners are starting to run from Baudette up into the river. That'll bring the walleyes. And you hardly even need to have bait to catch a fish if you come on down.
Hanson, I think you can almost walk across the Rainy River, can't you?
It's probably as slow as most people have seen it in years. Especially this time of year, and it's unfortunate, but you know this is Rainy River, so it might happen yet.
Any questions of Mr. Hanson? All right, thank you very much. The next item is a public comment period. Do we have any comments from the public? All right, hearing none. The next item is to set the next meeting for October. If we follow the same dates of the month, October would be October 19th, which is a Monday, at 9:30. Does that work for everyone? Any objection? All right.
9:30.
The next meeting of the KETA board will be October 19th at 9:30. Do we have any other business? Any other business? Any last comments? All right, thank you very much for attending. Thank you for your input, and we appreciate your efforts on behalf of KETA. So, thank you very much. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.